Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Tanya, your host. You're watching On the Town with Tanya. Thank you so much for coming back again this week. Do me one favor, go subscribe and check out our guest today when he tells you what his site is. Go subscribe as well. We appreciate you. Thank you for my new subscribers. So today's guest is a Westchester native who is making a name for himself in the comedy world. You can catch him performing throughout the New York tri-state area. And in New York's best comedy clubs. Please give it up for a comedian actor, Alex Fabian. What's up, Alex?
Yeah. What's up? How's everybody doing out there?
Everything's good. Thank you so much for joining us.
I'm here. Finally, I'm here.
I know. It has been a while, hasn't it?
It's been a while.
You kept yours.
Yeah, we were supposed to do this a while ago, but I'm happy. I'm happy we're here. We're getting it done now.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate you. So you've been doing a lot in the comedy world, like it's such a short time. I remember seeing you at the mics and stuff, and now I'm seeing you like everywhere. Literally, I'm like, yo, this kid's like trying to speed past. He's trying to go way past another lane. That's what's up. Hard work. That's what it does. Hard work.
Oh man, you got to. Yeah. You know what I mean. You gotta hit the stage. I mean, I guess that's the beginning and end, I guess, right?
Yeah, for sure. But I compliment you on your bravery, just staying out there and putting yourself out there, trying new stuff. I see you on everything, and it's a good thing. So I'm not hating. Che, what's his name? Che, the guy from SNL. Didn't he do it in like 2 years? Well, not really. You know what I mean? 2 years.
Did he really?
Yeah, like 2 years. Like most people be 15 years. But he did it something like crazy, like 2. But that's because every night, 5 nights of something crazy, like 5 mics a night, like something crazy. He was beasting. Yeah. Hard body.
That's crazy too.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, that's a lot.
I actually saw him. I met him one time at Liberty Live in Naya. Yeah, my girl Gina. Gina she was hosting for the weekend, and he popped up. He didn't do a set or anything, but he popped up. Dude is tall. He's actually like 6'4".
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Dude, he's like 6'3", 6'4", easy. Tall dude. He's a tall dude.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. So I've never seen him before. But that's 2 years. I was like, dang, I'm like a lazy comic.
Yeah.
I done lost 3 from the pandemic.
Yeah, the pandemic was rough. I mean, even getting back from the pandemic is kind of tough, isn't it?
Yes.
You know, like weeding yourself back and actually getting on, like people actually doing like live comedy shows is still kind of tough because people are still worried about COVID.
Yes.
Believe it or not.
Yeah, and we're up on the mic.
Yeah.
We were the first ones to start croaking.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, think about that. You know how many comics we lost?
Yeah. Oh man. Don't even get me started, man.
Yeah.
This comic, man. My man. Yeah. Kenny Ortega.
Oh, right. That's right. Kenny. Somebody. Oh, Ronnie. What's his last name? Oh, he used to be a Broadway all the time. What's his last name? I really forgot his last name. Okay, I'm having a senior moment. Forgive me.
Really?
But yeah, he used to be a Broadway all the time. He was a regular.
Yeah.
His last name. Oh, I'll think of it. But anyway, yeah, a lot. There was just so many. It scared me, literally. I wasn't even going to none of the. I was like, I'm not going. No mics.
Yeah, I mean, and listen, Kenny helped me out so much, you know, in my career, like especially in the beginning of my career. He was the one. He was like, "Oh man, you know what?" It's like, "Yo, listen, come to this comedy show. Here's this. You know what I mean? Here's this guest spot. Here's this spot that I'm giving you." And he was just so extremely helpful. Oh my God, he like mentored me, especially in the beginning. He's like, "Nah, do it. You know, say it this way, or do it this way."
Right.
Extremely valuable. Yeah.
Wow.
So
wow.
The fact that that people like that are gone who actually help you. I mean, the comedy world. Everybody's out for themselves.
Yes, they are. But,
you know what I mean?
They are. But I got to say this: just like he helped you, there are so many diamonds that help each of us. Like, because I know, like when I started, I know I sucked. I'm not even gonna keep. I'm gonna keep it 100. You know what I'm saying? And I think everybody when they first start does because they don't know. Yeah.
I don't
So
care
it's
who
not.
you are,
Yeah.
everybody.
It's not self-deprecating. It's just the truth.
Mhm.
And but you know, many people, Kim, Debbie, like so many people were like, okay, let's go back out. Okay, let's go back out. All right, let's go back out. And like keep going at it. Don't stop and don't give up. And they always inspire. And never once did they say, "Girl, you need to give this up." You know,
Yeah.
that's
No,
what I like.
yeah, you have to, and be honest with you, you have to inspire the new generation that's coming up. I was at the stand yesterday, and this dude, his name was, I think his name was Santiago,
Hmm.
um, 17 years old.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? 17. Can you imagine, Tanya, if we would have done comedy at 17?
Oh man,
Where
I'd be married right
exactly,
now.
exactly,
Red Fox, I'd be up there. Elizabeth, they're coming to get me.
exactly, 17. He was
Species.
just doing, he was just doing comedy. He was at the stand, uh, doing, an open mic and stuff like that. And I told him, I said, "Yo, there's." He went on stage, and I'm like, "Yo, there's so much material that you have,
Hmm.
so much material." I'm like, do this, let's do it this way." Just
Right.
giving them, because sometimes you got to give people pointers in terms of, because it's difficult to talk about stuff,
Right.
especially stuff that's like low hanging fruit. You know
Right.
what I mean? There's
Right.
comedy, there's low hanging fruit that you can really attach yourself to, which
Hmm.
makes it just a little bit easier to just gauge with the audience and engage with yourself.
Right.
So, I was having a conversation like, listen, I told him, I said, listen, if you really stick to it, you're 17 years old. By the age you're 23, 24, you can really be something special.
Right. Wow. Yeah.
Like,
Wow.
seriously, imagine 17. I'm like,
It's funny because we probably like okay. So that's my first question. When did you know you were funny? Because I bet you, if you really scan back,
mhm.
there was something there, but you just didn't know what that was.
Yeah,
You
of
scanned
course.
way back to the first time that you
Hmm.
cracked a joke and saw everybody, and you were like, "Oh, wait a
Yeah,
minute,
yeah,
wait, I found a new way to have life."
yeah, of course, of course. Well, here's the thing. I think black and brown folks. I mean, a lot of people have it, but we always have to have a sense of humor about pretty much everything.
Hmm.
Especially when we're with our friends and all that other good stuff. Like that's so important,
Hmm.
to have that sense of that. You know, sense of communication, one, but being able to laugh with each other and actually do stuff with each other. So I mean, I wasn't the class clown, quote unquote, because I was a little bit too shy to be the
Hmm.
class clown.
Right.
But I used to look at the clowns in class and used to be like, "Yo, that's funny," but I would tweak that. I would do this instead of doing whatever he did.
Right.
So I would see that, and and then it kept on going, like little by little. I started, doing modeling and stuff like that,
Hmm.
and the classic Steve Harvey. I just was like, yo, I want to be on TV. Like, I think it would be dope to be on TV. And I'm like, yo, comedy seems like, for me, it seems like something that I can do.
Hmm.
And of course, watching Chris Rock, the kings of comedy, like
Hmm.
watching that and just being like, yo, that's so dope, like
Right.
so amazing to do that.
Right.
So seeing that type of stuff and literally watching the king, I remember watching the Kings of Comedy and just laughing my off
Yes, that was
all the
with Bernie
time.
Mac. Make some
Yeah,
looking cookies.
exactly. Oh my God.
him upstairs.
Yeah, of course. What about him upstairs? Like everybody knows that. You know what I mean? The Steve Harvey, when he was hosting, he was talking about the music and he was talking about Al Green. Like
Yes.
all of that was so impressionable.
Yes.
Um, and it was so important. D.L. Hughley, of course, Cedric the Entertainer. I will always remember the
Cedric.
Cedric the Entertainment. It's like, yo, you know what I mean? Because we run. That's what we do. We run. When we see other people running, it's so factual.
Yes, he's true.
20 years, 25 years later, it's the exact same thing.
Right. It's amazing. They're really. I love watching them. I love watching Red Fox, Richard Pryor. I like the
Yeah.
oldies. Quite honestly, the oldies do it more for me because they just laid the groundwork. And then then you can find your own way from there. But what's his name? Oh, and I have his autobiography too. I think I'm having another senior moment. Dang, like really? Was this what happens after 50? Like, what's up with that? Your memory just goes. Like, oh my god, what
Yeah,
happened? But Red Fox, Pryor, and somebody else. Actually, Mom's Mabley was very funny.
yeah.
Uh, if you go way back in the archives, that's like way back. But I like SNL is what inspired me. I really old SNL, not now. But when Eddie Murphy was on there, Gilda Radner,
Yeah,
um, who else? Chevy Chase, all the old school. You know,
absolutely. I
yeah.
like it with the color. You know what I mean?
Yes, that was my favorite. Oh, are you kidding? I thought
Yeah.
I was going to be one of their writers. Okay, that was it. I was like, I'm going to be writing for that show, and I'm going to be on
You're a
that show.
writer.
Yes, yes. Do you write it all? Now, do you write it all?
Yeah, I'm actually meeting up with a friend. After this, and
Mhm.
what type of writing? Like script writing, or like what do you
Like,
mean?
I'm sorry, script writing, sketches, all that, all that.
Yeah. So that is the actual next move right now. Is I'm actually meeting up with a friend later on, and we're actually gonna do some of that going on now.
Okay,
So
nice.
we're gonna write some scripts. We're gonna get the foundation going for that,
Mhm.
and then we just shoot. I believe in, if you're gonna do something, just do it. Don't think about it too much.
Yeah, that's
You
true.
know, write it
That's
out, see what you like,
right.
and then go from there.
Right. Go with your yeah. Because if your instinct tells you to do it, then I say go for it too. I'm with you on that. Where where
Exactly.
does where does your material actually come from? Is it all your life experiences or just what is it? Like most people it is life experience, but what is there anything specific that your material what inspires you to write?
I mean, you gotta have perspective on a lot of things.
Hmm.
I think everything could be funny
Hmm.
depending on how you flip it.
Right.
Like there's a comedian that I know, right? And shout out to his name is Imagine. Shout out to him. He's a comedian and killer. I'm telling you, I don't know if you've seen him, Tom, but amazing. Like he destroys stages, and
Wow.
he can make literally anything funny.
Mm.
Like he can, let's say if you have a premise that you have,
Hmm.
he can take your premise and
Hmm.
then flip it. And let's say if your premise is not funny, he
Hmm.
can flip it and then make it funny.
See,
So
that's a new comedian. That's
exactly, he can literally, in this just the way that you deliver it. It may be the way that you might say it, but there's act out that you have to do as well.
yes.
So um and I think that just really starting to embrace that and starting to realize that part of it, where
Mm.
it's, all right, you know what? I can take this right here,
Mm.
uh, flip this, and make it funny and use a little imagination. It's still real because it happened to you.
Right.
It's still real because it happened to you, but
Right. You bring the
make
punch.
it funny. Bring the punch in and then make it funny where you're like, yo, you know what? That is hilarious.
Right.
That is,
It's an art form, and that's why it takes like 15 years to get like an Eddie
of
Murphy.
course.
People think like, oh, you just oh, and that's why I hate when people say, oh, that's not funny. I had well, I thought it was a friend, but it wasn't really a friend, but she
Yeah.
was like trying to insinuate that I was not funny. When I first started, I know I wasn't. So what? But I was like, I got the guts to get up on stage, which most people don't have. But she didn't understand. It takes years of doing that to build the muscle that
Yep.
now you can actually focus on just the joke and
Yep.
not at first. The first 5 years is spent like, if I say this, will I offend somebody?
Yeah.
Do I have to change this around? Do I move this? That's the first 5 years is all that. Once you
Yeah.
get
No,
that,
right.
now you get to the real jokes and just the jokes.
Mhm.
And then you become like that guy where you can take anything. I mean, I love watching an old G comic come into I was at Broadway Comedy Club, and one
Yeah.
night I forgot the name of the comedian, but somebody who used to be really famous, he came in. So they're like, would you happen to want to go on stage? And he was like, yeah. I swear to you, the downstairs of Broadway Comedy Club. Okay,
Yeah.
you know how that shabby that area looks.
Mm-hmm.
He ripped that room in 5 minutes, had us all on the floor dying,
Wow.
dying. And I was like, who would have thought? Like he said, yeah, I was in here 25 years ago. They still have the rats going around, huh? Whatever it was, he was observing everything, and I was like, dang, why didn't I think of that? But I was like, he has 25 years experience
exactly. And you can't beat that. I mean, the other comedian that I was talking about, he's been in the game for 20 over like 25 years as well.
Mm,
You know what I mean? So you can't, yeah, you can't beat that. You can't beat experience.
nope, not at all.
You can't beat it.
So what do you think? Do you think you know how comics when they get famous, they get writers? Do you think comics should write their own material, or do you think sometimes you have to need a little help from your friends?
Um, I mean, this is controversial, right?
Right,
You know what
very.
I mean? It's kind of very. I think it depends on how big you are.
Hmm.
I think it depends. Seriously, I think it depends on how big you are of a comedian. If you're Kevin Hart,
Hmm.
there's no way your life is so demanding that there's no way that you can be able to really handle that much of everything
Hmm.
and still sit down and have the luxury of writing something this and doing this and then tweaking. I think it just becomes very overwhelming and
Hmm.
cumbersome at some point.
So how do
uh,
you think Lucy Ball, Lucy Ball, Lucille Ball, Carol Burnett, people like yeah, go back to the way old school. How did they do it?
I mean, but I think back in the day it wasn't so demanding.
Okay,
You
right.
know
So they
what I mean?
once, boom, 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 boom,
Yeah,
boom.
of course. I don't think it was so demanding the way it is right now.
Right.
Like if if you were to say, hey Kevin, if you say Kevin Hart, and or someone who as is as big as them, yo, what's your schedule like? Like, you know what I mean? Really, what's your schedule like? He'll tell you, oh, I have to, I have this movie that I'm shooting right here, and then I got to fly to New York, and then I have to do this, and then I got to fly to Miami because I have to be here for this,
Right.
and
It's
then
a
I have
lot.
to go back home. I mean, these people take private jets everywhere that they go. It's very, overwhelming when it comes down to that. So I mean, can you imagine? No,
Right.
the lifestyle is very must be
I
very
don't
different.
know. I just feel like, well, I guess that would be the same as like a famous singer. They get writers for them. So, okay. All right.
Sure.
Technically, but I get really upset when I hear that somebody like a Kevin Hart has people writing for him. I personally get personally upset unless it's like his best friend who knows him and
Yeah.
knows his vernacular and knows exactly what he would say in that moment.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
get kind of weird about that because I'm like, now I don't know what I'm getting.
Well,
It's,
yeah.
I mean, I mean, I don't know. I just get weird. I'm trying. Maybe one day I'll be like, I need a writer, and I've had people give me hooks to jokes, so I'm not going to say that either. And I've had people great comics give me great. So I was like, oh, if I flip that, thank you. Oh my god. So I get the jewels that you can get, but like all the time, like I
I
don't
mean,
know.
a lot of people, a lot of comedians even have that. Even the best ones right now had that. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? A lot of people. I mean, Cat Williams. You know what I mean? I remember, doing a show, um, and there was someone who writes. It was someone who writes for Cat Williams,
Okay.
right? She writes for Cat Williams, and she sounded very similar to Cat Williams
Mm,
in terms of the punchline, in terms of so you if you have people, there's people who are very similar to yourself
okay.
in terms of writing, in terms of how they know your lifestyle. There's
Mhm.
very like I know there's comedians right now where it's like exactly how you could see a comedian and automatically write some stuff for them and
Okay.
be because that's what I did yesterday. I'm like, oh, this would be hilarious if you said this. Oh,
Mhm.
it'd be hilarious if you said this. Or you know what? You look like this right here. This would be, and you can give them
Mhm.
4 or 5 minutes of straight material just seeing them one time.
Okay. Okay.
You can straight up but I mean, but when you get to that level where you're at that pinnacle,
Mhm.
um, I think that I think do I think all the big comics? Do I honestly think that they could sit there and write their own stuff? Hands down.
Mhm.
Yeah, I would never. Yeah, are you kidding me? Like, you don't think that Kevin Hart is? You don't think Kevin Hart or Chris Rock or Dave Chappelle or any of these comics who are out there? You don't think that if they sat down for a half an hour, 45 minutes, and really wrote some stuff, you don't think that they can sit down and write some dope stuff?
Right. Okay.
You must. Yeah, that's hands down. I do not believe.
Yeah. All right.
I
So,
Yeah,
all right. Well, I'm gonna look at a new perspective on that, but
yeah.
that's just me. So here's the thing in comedy, right? So I know as a female, when I first started, some guys would be like, "Oh, you're only getting stage time because you're cute," and I was like, "Okay, thank you for the compliment." Now, do you get that as a guy? I know you're a guy, but do you think that having looks helps? I'm
No,
just
but
no.
definitely no.
Wait,
I
well,
no
well, well, from the male, if it's a male booking,
no
no. Go ahead,
no
break that down for
no.
us. Someone asked me to ask you, so I'm asking. I had to ask because look, if it was a if you were interviewing a fine woman, right? Wouldn't you want to ask like, does this get in your way or is this good, right?
I've never gotten a booking because he was like, "Yeah, I like your look." I've, I've just that's
No,
never happened.
I mean
Never,
you have to be funny too, but I'm saying it gets
never.
a
It's
little
never.
much.
Yeah,
No,
but you have. Yeah, but here's the thing: you actually have to be funny, though.
yes,
You know what I
that's
mean?
yeah,
That's the key. That's the key word, though. You
yeah,
have to be fun. It, like I've realized that about comedy is that um, they don't care what you look like.
right,
And honestly, I think if you come off like a pretty, like if you come off as a pretty boy or something like that,
right.
I honestly think that that works
Turns off.
against you
Yeah, yeah,
because then there's just so much expectation that you have to do. Like
mm,
for instance, like when I even now when I go into comedy rooms and stuff like that,
mhm,
the only time where I'll really like show out and like wear something nice or something like that or
mhm,
get a haircut, it has to be I have to be performing somewhere that's really like I was at Stand Up and Y yesterday, and I did a spot,
mhm.
and that's the only time where I would actually do something that's like nice. Like I was set up just because I knew it was going to be a lot of people, it's going to be a packed house.
Right.
Um, and especially if I'm being recorded for something or if
Mhm,
I'm recording myself that's going to go on Instagram or YouTube or something like that,
right,
then yeah, I would want to make sure that the lighting is good and that I'm wearing something nice or whatever
right,
the case may be.
right.
But I'm gonna be honest with you, other than that, like if I'm in the Bronx or
Mhm,
Brooklyn,
mhm,
Queens, doing comedy somewhere,
mhm.
if you show up, I used to do this in the beginning of my career. I mean, if you show up like all pretty boyed out, you better keep it up. You better back it. You better
That's
make
right.
sure that you go in there and you really
Super
throw
fun.
it. You gotta throw down.
Yeah.
Like you gotta be gritty and really you can't go on there. Hey, what's up, ladies?
Like Pimp 505.
Exactly. No way.
I'm like,
That's
it's
not.
corny.
Yeah.
I
Look
get
at
it.
this pretty boy. What's this pretty boy doing here, yo? You should go somewhere else with all that.
Right,
That's what they're
right.
gonna tell you.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
Hands
that's
down, hands down.
true. Yeah,
So
some
no, no, no.
no, I got you. So yeah, Prince was saying some comedians are ugly. What did he say? Some comedians are ugly. Use their ugly as an advantage. Yeah,
Exactly.
that's true. But I
Mhm.
think you can also use the opposite if you once you get really clever. You just got to be really clever. So
Mhm.
so tell me the first time. Do you remember the first time you got heckled? What did you do? First time. It was like, ugh.
The very first time. I mean,
That's
this. Are you kidding me? There's been so bad. There's so many times. It's not even.
right.
I mean, here's the thing with
Well, the
me.
first is the most important because that's the
Yeah,
if you can't go back after that, it's a wrap.
yeah. I mean, the first time I got heckled. I mean, the first time I did comedy, I was a stand-up and Y, and I
Okay.
did one of those bringer shows.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Those are the best.
yeah, you know what I mean. So I did one of those bringer shows at Stand Up and Y, and I mean, throughout my career, what I would do to hecklers, honestly, I would avoid them.
Oh,
So if they were to say something, I would have been like, I would have said whatever or whatever. I would have just avoided them. I would have just said anything, and I would just keep on doing my set. Honestly, when you avoid people and you keep on doing your set,
hmm
it has to be someone really obnoxious
right. To punch.
where they're gonna interrupt. And you know what I mean. Usually, you get those at like bar shows and things of that nature, where
Right.
you can be a lot more responsive to that mark.
Okay.
But I've learned, through comedians
Mhm.
that doing comedy, you have to be very in the moment.
Right.
So if something happens, I don't care what happens. If someone gets up and leaves, you have to address that within that moment, right then and there. You have to, like,
Yes.
you have to address it. So if someone's, so now, I mean, if that would have happened now, of course, I would have to address it. There's no other way that you wouldn't be able to. You have to address what's in the room. You have to say, you know what, this is happening right now in that moment. I know that you have to remember whatever it is that you remembered inside your mind.
Right.
You have to address what's going on because this is real life and it's happening right now.
Right. Right. A good comic will. Yeah.
Of course.
And that's
So
when you see the pro from the like the newbie.
exactly.
Because the
You know
newbie,
what I
like,
mean?
I would never address at first. I would, yeah.
Because one, when you first start, especially doing comedy, you're in your mind. You're trying to remember everything, what's going on in your head, exactly the way that you rehearsed it. You're like, all right, I got to say this at this point. All right, I got to do my punchline. I got to do this. I got to do that.
Right.
So you don't even care what's happening in the room. You just trying to remember whatever hell is going on inside
Right.
your mind.
Right.
But now you do it so often where it just comes out, and then you're watching the audience, and then you have to reply to it.
Yeah, no, definitely. So wait, so I think I got a clip of you. I think it's on Instagram. I want to show a clip, guys, of you in one of the comedy rooms, and it was pretty funny actually. But I had another one, but I lost where my spot. So let me see if I can punch this up, guys. Give me a second. I'm gonna show you. Hey Maria, what's up? I'm gonna show you guys a clip of Alex Fabian. Give me a second. Give me a second. Let's see if I can do my little things right here. Let me see. Share screen. No, real file. Nope, that's wrong. See, I'm about to get it wrong, y'all. Hold up. Present. Okay, how do I do it? Share screen. Yeah. Okay, share screen. Give me a second. All right, I'm gonna hear it goes. Women holler. Here we go. So here's a clip of Alex in let's see.
Hey,
Remember
I'm at
this?
Broadway. Yeah, I'm at Broadway.
Oh, Broadway. Okay. Okay.
What's up, New York City? What's up?
Sorry.
Man, who said that to me? Hey, girl. Fine day. Oh, you starting this already? Just like this? You know I got an OnlyFans, right? I'm serious. I got an OnlyFans, yo. I got all my mother's friends on there. So
Sorry.
What's up, New York City? What's up?
So I tried, guys. Sorry. I hope you got to see that clip, but it was funny. It was hilarious. Sorry, Alex. I got this. They got too many buttons for me to press. Too many buttons. What do you call it? But that was hilarious when you said your mom's friend. You know, I got the fans only. That was a clever joke. That was very clever.
Yeah, you got to. I mean, it's always a good joke that works. If there's especially if there's some older women in the house, and that's always a good one.
That was a very good one. There was the one about the bank. There's one you did about the bank, working in the bank. You was there 3 days.
Oh, yeah, that was not too long ago too. It was about 3 weeks ago, something like that. I was at the stand, and yeah, some guy was, there was just something that some guy said. He was like, "Yeah, I work at the bank." You know what I mean? And I'm like, "Oh, this is too good.
Right.
This is too good." And I thought about it right there and there. It wasn't something that I rehearsed.
Wow, really? So you did it on the spot?
Yeah, some guy was talking about. I was watching the comedian before me, and he was talking about. He was telling people, or I think it was a host. He was like, "Oh, where do you work? You work at the bank," and then he was going off with that.
Uh-huh.
Then yeah, I thought about that bank stuff. Right, it was freestyle. I thought of it in my mind right then and there.
Wow. That was a good piece. I was trying to find it again. I don't know how. It just literally disappeared. I was like, really?
Really?
Yeah. But you guys check him out on YouTube. He's got massive Instagram is your page. What's your page? So I meant to write that up. Put that up.
On Instagram?
Yeah, Instagram.
Yeah. So my Instagram is the only Alex Fabian.
Alex Fabian.
YouTube. Yeah, I'm on YouTube. I'm at AF Alex Fabian Comedy.
Alex Fabian Comedy on YouTube. Okay, hopefully I got that right. Let me see if I got that right. Tell me if that looks right there. Alex Fabian Comedy on YouTube, and then this one's Instagram. The only Alex Fabian.
Alex Fabian, yeah, Alex Fabian comment, Alex Fabian 3. It's
Oh, wait. So this was wrong. Go
which
back.
one?
This one on Instagram. Is that
No,
right?
the Instagram, that's perfect. The only Alex Fabian, yeah, that's perfect.
And this one for YouTube.
Alex Fabian 3
Oh,
on
three. Wait
YouTube.
a minute. Hold up. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Let's like edit it. It won't let me edit it, so I just won't show that. Let me do it again. Alex Fabian. You guys, just in case. Fabian 3
Mm-hmm.
comedy.
On YouTube. No, it's just like that. Alex Fabian 3. It's
Okay.
on YouTube. Yeah.
All right, guys. I'm just writing that in for you. Try to go to the page, like and subscribe if you can. Okay. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate you. Hey, I see you guys out there popping up there. Grandma. Uh, hey, welcome back, Yvonne. Hey, Maria, Jen. Gosh, I see a lot of you. Joe. Yvonne says hello. Um,
What's
she was at our
up?
she was at our show. Yeah. Welcome back, darling. We're so happy to see you back.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I see you guys out there. I see you. It's working. Thank you. I always ask people to tell me if it's working because sometimes I am not a decade.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that was funny. That was hilarious. So let me see. What makes you laugh? What makes you laugh since you're a comedian? Or who makes you laugh?
In terms of comics, or
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the one who really, inspired me, to sit there and really be like, yo, you know what, this is it. Uh, I have to say Chris Rock. Um, they're the one, like if it was a big comic, they're
Mm-hmm.
the one. He was the one that made political subjects and really you made a quotable. Like if you're doing comedy and you're a stand-up comic and you go on stage and nobody remembers what you spoke about, but they knew that you were funny, I don't
Mm-hmm.
feel you were making it. You made an impact.
Okay.
But if you remember what they said because it affected you,
Right.
like everybody, you have to have quotables. So
Right.
Chris Rock has so many quotables, and you could sit there and literally go through it, and it'll
Mm-hmm.
be so dope. Um,
That's true.
I Yeah, I think that's what made me like, you know what? But who really like honed my comedy and had to been like local comedians,
Mm-hmm.
local here, like here that not that many people know of. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
if you're the comedy scene right now, like in New York, then you would know of them.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I mean, like, what I mean? Those are the comics that really like, yeah, this is it right here. You know what
Right.
I mean? I
Right.
have to
Right.
like, yeah, I have to do that the way that he does it, right? Because you know what? That was so funny.
Right. How many years you been doing comedy now?
I've been doing comedy for about 5 years now. It's been about
Okay.
5 years.
Oh, okay. So yeah, was that without the pandemic or with it?
That's with the pandemic.
Okay.
But I didn't really I didn't at first I took it serious, maybe for the first year and a half, maybe
Mm-hmm.
2 years I took it serious. Then then the pandemic came, a year and a half, all that stuff. I didn't take it so serious.
Okay.
And then for the past year and a half, I've been taking it, probably for about a year and a half, I've been taking it really serious. Where I'm
Okay.
like, I'm going all in.
Going beast. I know. I see you. You be like, Alex Fabian, Alex Fabian,
Yeah.
Alex Fabian.
I'm going in. I'm going all in.
That's what's up. Well, I see a lot of guys that got into comedy. Like, I mean, especially when I started. I started 8 years ago. I hate to say
Yeah.
that because I lost 3 because of the pandemic. So I've been doing Zoom ones, but the Zoom, they say it doesn't count. It does technically, but untechnically, as a comic, we like to see your face in person and your
Hmm.
body language in person. But because I'm a communications major, and that's
Yeah.
what I'm trained to look at your body and your language and your tonation and see what that's about. So for
Yeah.
me, Zoom works because I still can gauge. Nah, that ain't gonna work.
Hmm.
But I can understand live is way more efficient in me figuring out. Oh yeah, no, this is gonna hit or this ain't gonna hit. So I get that.
Yeah. Definitely.
Uh, um, what was I gonna say? Uh, when
8
you,
years is a long time though.
huh?
8 years. It's a good amount. It's a good amount of time too.
It is, but I feel like I lost that three because I was not going nobody's mic with that. This is what we do all day. Then you go, and then somebody else go. There was like 50 people on that mic, and then
Yeah.
some people literally put their mouth on it, like you're like,
Yeah.
you need that 3 foot rule, like
Yeah.
6 feet 6 inches or something
Yeah.
like, you
The whole.
know,
I mean,
yeah,
there's comedy. Have you ever heard of a comedy? They call it a comedy condom, like a mic condom.
uh-huh.
You ever
What's it
heard
called?
a mic condom?
No. Oh yes, I heard of that. I did hear that. That's a
Yeah.
thing.
So that I mean I definitely
Wow,
use that hands down. You kidding
really,
me?
really.
Yeah, of course,
It's
of
just
course.
weird. It's just weird. The
It
thought of it,
is
like, "Hi
because
guys, excuse me."
yeah.
They're
Well,
like,
you got to make a joke of it, and
"I'm
the
trying to get
first
nobody
joke,
flashbacks."
yeah, the first joke that I make of it, I'm like, oh look, how rare is this? The Dominican using a condom, or whatever the case may be. When it comes down to,
Right,
you got to make light of it. You got to one, you have to address it, just like you
right,
said, because you just can't put something on the mic and everybody, what the heck was that? But then you take it off. I see a lot of comedians now,
right.
like, they still use that, like known comedians,
Mm-hmm.
like known comedians, they still use that now. So,
Right. Wow. So, yeah. Well, that's. I mean, now, especially after knowing, like, dang, somebody that just used this and get me sick. It's like a
yeah,
weird thing. Like, bring my own. Bring my own.
yeah, yeah, no, definitely,
I
hands
need
down.
yours, thanks. Yeah, it's an awkward thing. It's Kevin Lee, comedian magician Kevin Lee is the most brilliant because when you could go back and look at his clip from Def Jam, Comedy Jam, like in the '90s, his
Mhm.
first thing he comes out with set with is a can of Lysol and sprays it.
Uh,
He goes, "Hey, yeah, very nice people, very whatever he says. I forgot the exact quote. Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah." So it's brilliant because he can now use that still in his set, and he got proof that he's been doing it for
Yup.
years, spraying it with Lysol. Hilarious.
Got to.
It's hilarious. So
Yeah,
yeah,
no, you got to. I mean,
yeah.
hands down, you definitely got to. Forget
I
about
know.
that.
How did you stay safe during the pandemic as a comedian? Like when you were doing mics, just the
Vitamin,
condom, mic condom, or whatever they call it.
that, vitamin C, um, vitamin D3, zinc. I mean, I was a huge proponent even before the pandemic. I was a huge proponent of,
Health.
just keeping up with like yourself. That was really important to me. I mean, the only thing that I was really nervous about was just seeing my mom.
Okay.
Uh, you know what I mean? And then going out there and seeing my mom. But I mean,
Okay.
a lot of stuff was closed during that time. Remember, like even the
Yeah.
comedy clubs, they
Uh,
were closed. People were nervous.
what about when they opened and they said that you can't come in unless you've been vaccinated?
Vaccinated. Oh man, forget about it.
It's like, I'll see you later.
Yeah, it was that. Yep, 100%. It was that, and doing park shows,
Right.
open space,
Oh yeah, that's right. Those were a big thing.
big thing. New York, are you kidding me? People were doing park shows. People were just doing a whole bunch of things where you didn't have to be in a cooped up room.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
But,
yeah, definitely.
but one thing about the pandemic, do you remember? This was the best part: is that everybody was home, so they really could focus on your jokes.
They still do.
Saying like I had 100 people in a Zoom, like
Yep.
like it was like on. It was
It's
like
nuts.
where they come from though.
Exactly.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
I gotta say, it was pretty lit for some of them Zooms, and I mean, it worked for what it was. But even now, I still try to find people who are homesick, people that can't get out, people who don't want to go out, So there's still an audience. You just have to. It's harder to target them without it being a pandemic. That's all. So
There's definitely an audience.
yeah.
There's definitely an audience, hands down. I mean, everybody needs to laugh. Some people
Mhm.
can't make it out to the comedy clubs. What I realize is a lot of comedy clubs, they don't make it accessible for people who have disabilities.
Mhm.
Especially
Right.
if they want to go to the bathroom. Sometimes the
Yes.
bathroom is like downstairs.
Yes.
There's a couple of comedy clubs that you can go to. The Stand is one of them
Mhm.
where you can go to, and Broadway is another one that you can go to and go to the bathroom on the same, or you can make it easy for them to go and then.
Right.
So I understand that.
Right. Yeah. No, they definitely. I think they're more modern Well, are they more modern than the other ones? Because sometimes maybe that's why, because it's old and they just haven't renovated it. I guess I don't know, but you would think they would be like, "Let me get, we can need everybody on here we can get," you know.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
it one day, hopefully, it'll get better. We'll see. So Yvonne mentioned your fans page only page.
Fans only page.
Just
It's
where
just
pull
a
up.
joke, Yvonne. I swear, it's just a joke. I do
That's
not
hilarious.
have an OnlyFans page. I do not.
That- That's a good. That's a good. That was a hilarious joke. That was a very good joke. I was
Appreciate
like, fans only page. Hey,
it.
all my mother's friends.
Yeah.
Very, very brilliant. So let me ask you, what do you think makes a great comic?
um, what makes a great
Yeah,
comic?
what elements do you think?
I mean, I think there's a little bit of everything. You have to do your research on the old comedians and see, you have to do your research on old comedians. One,
Mhm,
if you know your history when it comes down to that. Two, how well you can formulate, sentences and put a premise together, with act outs and then a punch out,
mhm,
um, you know, all those, and then you add tags to it. So if you're a comedian and you're witty with your words,
mhm,
I think that would make you a really great comedian.
mhm.
You know, like
Yeah,
that's very the act out is very important. But in this business, I think the most important thing that you can have, especially as a comedian, is a great imagination.
mm,
Like
yes.
you have a great imagine. Like if you really have a great imagination, you
Hmm.
can take something that you're doing and make it so much more funnier by
Hmm.
having a great imagination
Mm, mm.
of stuff.
That's so
You
true.
know what I mean? Like
Very true.
and just doing things way differently. But that's what makes comedy so special because when you're out there, Tanya, and you're doing your thing,
Hmm.
you have one perspective. You're bringing your whole life's experience with
Hmm.
a joke that you think it's funny.
Right,
Now I can look at it and say that's good that you
right,
did that.
right.
But someone can flip it and do something a little bit different that would
Hmm.
also make it funny.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
is super cool because then it's like based off your idea and what you thought was funny and then
Mhm.
flip it,
Right. Wow.
which is great. You know what I mean? But having a great imagination,
Mm.
listen, honestly, you can't beat that.
No, no. All right. So that's your
You
favorite. What's your who rather are your
yeah.
favorite maybe three comics
Three
or at
comics.
least one if you can't find the three. But who's
No,
your favorite and why?
I mean, but here's the thing. I like I said, I like comics who, like when I first started,
Hmm.
I like comics who could really rock a room, but
Hmm.
nobody, like a lot of people didn't know, like they didn't know. So, you know, I would say, Chris Rock obviously was someone who was amazing at doing his on a grander scale.
Hmm.
Um, there's I mean there's a whole bunch. Are you kidding me? There's a whole bunch of guys. There's
I know.
Omar the comedian. He's
Mm-hmm.
a comic from Harlem.
Mm-hmm.
Hilarious. Obviously, imagine.
Mm-hmm.
He's a comic from the Bronx. Um, this guy's name Roberto Vanderpool. He opens up for Tracy Morgan. Um,
Hmm. Wow.
I
So
can
many.
go on for days. Yeah, you can go out here for days. Ralphie May, I really liked.
Yes, Ralphie.
George Lopez, I think is freaking hilarious.
I love
Obviously, the big names, yeah, Cat Williams, all those big names. Obviously,
him. Hmm.
they bring a part and a perspective within yourself.
Right.
You're like, huh, interesting, got it.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So,
Yeah. Wow.
like the local comedians, I'm gonna be honest with you, local comedians, you can't beat them because you know what it is when you're doing comedy and you're like and you see
Hmm.
them really rock a room,
Hmm.
like really you're mesmerized. You're like, what did he just do right now into this room?
Right.
Like it's so Oh my God, it's so, and yeah, it's so crazy. So
Have you ever did like, well, not the opposite, but like where you were doing, let's say, what do you call those things? You know how Levity Live does those mic'd up. They used
yeah,
to do. I don't know if they still do them. They used to do mic'd up. So you're doing this. It's like a show because there's like 300 people in the audience. So to me, it's a show.
yeah.
But you're opening for somebody else who's bigger. Have you ever done those? Those are
Oh yeah,
fun.
definitely.
Those are
Oh
fun.
yeah, definitely. Are you kidding
Uh,
me? Those are the times where, you know what I mean. Yeah, those are the amazing opportunities.
Anybody ever famous that you came after? I got
Anyone
love
famous that you up?
that you came after. I came one time after Kim Coles was who we were opening for. Technically, she was
Oh
the
really?
she was the comedian. So I was like, yes. And I missed one night. Who was it? I think it was Jerry Seinfeld was over at Broadway or something like that. I missed that one. Yeah,
Nice,
yeah. So I was
nice.
like, dang man, why I gotta miss the good stuff. But yeah, yeah.
That what are you saying that like me go on and
Yeah, you go on and you're like we're kind of like pre-opening for someone. One
oh
time,
okay,
guy he was filming for HBO or something, so they
nice,
picked us to go Levity Live, and
yeah,
I forget his name, Rodriguez, something Rodriguez. I forgot his name. I
yeah.
don't get mine. That's bad. That's sad. That's sad. I don't remember his name. It's just my age, folks. Nothing else. Nothing personal. Don't take it personal. It's nothing personal. It's just me. Um, but yeah. So you know, sometimes you luck out
Yeah.
as a new comic, and they'll be
Mhm.
like, "Yeah, could you like the Metropolitan Room was where that was at,"
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
I forgot who else. It was Wally Collins or
Yo,
something.
the Metropolitan Room.
Yeah, right, right. You remember that? Oh man. Oh yes. I always suggest too if anybody wants to start a comedy, you should definitely if you don't have no clue what to do, the first thing you do is go to Mike's. If you can't do that and you're like, no, I'm really clueless, go to Andy's classes at the Manhattan Comedy School. I love them. I love
Yeah,
them. I
yeah.
love it. I think I got a good basics. I'm glad I didn't just dive in and be like, I'm just going to do whatever I feel like it because you can and you will become great. It's just that I don't like to take the long road if I don't have to. Like, why would I do that? If he's going to tell me, no, your mic is your weapon. If you don't have your mic, nobody cares what you say. Nobody cares. They can't hear you. You know,
Yep.
something as simple as that. You can see that when you go to a mic and someone steps away from the mic and starts telling jokes, you're like, oh, come on, dude. Like, don't you know, like your mic is your thing, right?
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
I
you
think
gotta use your mic. Yeah. That's why you can always, be the heckler out because you're louder than them. Like what do
yes,
you like you can do whatever it is that you want. You're in control at that point.
yes,
And plus, and it's a power dynamic too. You're looking down at them because the stage is up, so you're looking down. Like it's there's a whole thing to it.
right,
You know what I mean? There's a whole thing to it. So yeah, your mic is definitely your weapon.
yes. Well, I know we got to go, but I just got a few more questions for you. What keeps you going back to the stage? So after a pandemic, after when there's no money being made, when there's no love from the audience, what keeps you going?
So the reason why I started doing comedy, I think it's important.
Hmm.
I think you have to understand why you started doing comedy. You,
Hmm.
like, what's the purpose of it? For me, it's I always say people have to see me.
Hmm.
People have to see me. Like they have to see what I have to say.
Hmm.
They have to understand what my perspective is. They
Hmm.
have to understand where I'm coming from.
Right.
Um, that's what that's what keeps me going. But um, also just sticking to your goal. And you said something out. You said that you were going to be a comedian and you were going to rock out and really do what you tended to do,
Right.
and you keep your promise when it comes down to that.
Mm.
And you're too far in not to go all the way.
Right.
You already invested so much within.
I
You've
know.
met all these people. You've done
Yes.
so much. I don't care what your age is, by the way.
Right.
It doesn't matter what your age is. It
Mm.
really not in comedy. If you were a
Nope.
rapper, I would say, yeah, you got to give up. Yeah, there was you
Unless you flow
got
right.
Yeah, exactly. You got well, unless you win a loss or something like that, it's different. But if the comic,
Right.
you can sincerely do this for the rest of your life. You could be in your
Yeah.
70s, 80s.
Look at George Stoltz. I mean, dude's like masterful, masterful.
Exactly.
And he's hilarious.
And
Absolutely hilarious.
absolutely. And this is the only profession where as you get older,
Hmm.
the better you be. It's almost like being a lawyer. Like as you get older,
Hmm.
the more knowledge you gain,
Yeah.
the deadlier you are. Like you're
Right.
like, oh my God. You know what I mean?
Right. Wow.
So being a comic, the older you are, the better you become. And you have I mean you have to put in the time, but the
Right.
better the initially the better you become. And you know, that's what you set out to be. So don't be
Right.
it's too late to fall back now.
Right. The wisdom that goes with it. So
Of
you
course.
also do some acting. Which one came first, comedian or actor?
No, the comedy definitely came first. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And
Comedy.
what did somebody walk up to you and be like, "Listen, we have a contract for you. We have a
um,
contract waiting
I
for you."
wish, I wish it was that easy. Definitely not. So I used to do, like background work.
Uh-huh.
I used to, I used to just I got into like the modeling as well,
Yeah.
and I just started doing that, and I'm like, you know what, this is something that could lead into. I used to do Clear Blue commercials. I used to do Dunkin' Donuts commercials.
Really?
Yeah,
Wait,
of
was it
course.
like that, bro?
Yeah,
Did
I
you say
used
wait,
to.
wait, famous thing. Did you say a line?
Huh? In
Did you
those
say
commercials, no, I was in the back. No, I was in the back.
man,
But
no,
here's the thing,
man, you did the one line.
I wasn't. I was. Yeah, I was like holding. I was because there's sometimes there's commercials where you don't say anything and
I
people
know, I'm
there's a
teasing.
background. No, seriously, but I wish. Are you kidding me? I would have been in
That's
there.
residuals. You've been ching ching every time that commercial roll. Bing bing.
Yeah,
Yeah. My daughter, my oldest daughter did a changing lanes with Ben Affleck and Samuel Jackson. And
yeah.
now they have all these rights going on for different countries.
Hmm.
Sometimes she still gets a check. And that's from when she was like 10 years old, 11 years old. She
Exactly.
was really young. I forgot. She was really young. But
Yep. The first time I saw myself on TV, I did a New York. I did a Yankees promotional video, like a promotional video for their new stadium. That was
oh,
the first time. Yeah, it was the first time I saw and they had like a background speaker, but that was the first time I saw. I'm like, oh, that's me. It was the first.
right. You'd be like, wow. Yeah,
Yeah, of
yeah.
course.
That's
I
dope.
was.
That's
Yeah,
dope. So
definitely.
you have an agent and everything?
Yeah, I have an agent. It depends on which type of agent. So I have an agent. When it comes down to like commercial work,
Right.
um, and things of that nature. Yeah.
Right.
So and a manager, of course. You know
Good.
what I mean. You definitely need a manager because there's a lot of stuff. You need someone to put you out there as well.
Vet out the good from the bad. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Good for you. I'm glad you're making it just I mean, when you're a comedian, you really gotta know how to hustle because there's so many ways to make money in this game. It's not
Hmm.
just being on stage. You can do it at colleges, you can do it on cruise ships, you can do it through the modeling and then tag in the comedy.
Hmm.
I mean, there's 500 ways to make money and get paid in this business. So
Exactly.
I'm glad you're utilizing all of it.
Yeah.
Because I mean, hey, why not? What's the best thing that comedy has done for you, or that's been about comedy, doing comedy?
There's a couple things actually.
Hmm.
Um, One, it has allowed me to meet so many great people.
Yeah.
Like hands down, you would never think like, wow, this is an amazing person right here.
Mhm.
Both comedians and the audience,
Right.
both. Um, it is so important for that. Be
Mhm.
very honest with you. Yeah, and the second thing would be um, making someone's day better as a
Mhm.
comedian, and genuinely, I don't really touch on a lot of like political points when I'm at the comedy club, just because I think that you should forget about what's going out in the outside,
Right. Right.
really focus on the inside. So I
Absolutely.
wouldn't necessarily like politics, and I mean politics and things like that. I am no George Carlin, so it's kind of difficult for me, to reach that type of level and to get
Right.
that intimate.
Right.
um, but I think that touching people, especially in the comedy clubs, and really
Yes.
changing how they are, changing their
Yes.
mood.
Yes. That's it. That's what we do it for.
That's exactly. So
That's it.
that's the most important thing for comedy. Yeah.
Wow. Well, answer this question. I made it through the pandemic because was it because of the Zoom or was it just a break for you?
It was definitely. I made it through the pandemic. It was definitely a break, but I made it through the pandemic, no lie, because of my health.
Good for you. Yeah, me too.
It,
Thank you,
hands down.
Jesus. Thank you, Lord. Hallelujah. Praise Him.
You
Yeah,
got to, and that's something that I talk about a lot too. You got to. There's no. You can't be the best version of yourself
exactly.
if you can't if you're not healthy within yourself.
Yeah, if you can't, yeah, it's hard. It's because you can't, especially what we do. You have to
Exactly.
really be. I mean, because you go out. Some people go out every night, 3 nights, 3 times a night. They go
Yeah.
from Jersey back down to here, back over there, drive here, come here. I mean, people out here busting it. I mean, busting it up. So if you're not healthy, we're gonna find out. Just like,
And yeah, and you can't help. And be honest with you, you can't. You know, um, my brother always used to say, you can't pour from an empty glass.
no,
So you can't help people. You can't do anything if you're not healthy within yourself. If you How can you make people's laugh? How can you make people's day? How can you do anything if you can't help yourself or be healthy within yourself?
right,
Like your health, so you have to be healthy. You have to make sure my day starts at 5:45 in the morning every
really.
single day. Yeah, of
What
course.
do you do? Work out?
Yeah, you got to hit the gym. You got to be in the gym. I'm in the gym at 5:45, 6 a.m. Do what I have to
Well,
do.
don't go up to the gym now.
Imagine. You got to.
Don't be up there clogging that gym up.
Yeah. You got to be in the gym. You got to
I'm
make
messing
sure you're
around.
good. Yeah, of course. Come on live. We have a little comedy show at the gym.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, no, I'm messing with you. Know, I'm messing with you. You know,
Yeah.
it's funny because usually I know you get this a lot. Okay. So as women, whenever we go on shows and stuff, like or
Yeah.
whenever we're out, the audience and people say little sly things, all right? Especially if a girl's good looking, right?
Yeah.
So guys who are good looking, I wonder if they feel like the same way we do when we get like like, oh, here you can go first. It's like you just want to see my backside. Like I wonder if guys feel like feel like, wait a minute, why are they doing so nice to me?
Yeah.
you know?
Be very honest with you. In comedy, I've never felt that way.
Okay, good.
Never. It's never been
Right.
like, oh yeah, um, yeah. Going back to it, just never felt that way. It doesn't matter. Uh, Comedy, and what a lot of people don't understand sometimes is comedy is they call it show business for a reason,
Right.
and that never reaches, it never gets out of my mind.
Right.
It's show business. That's why they do the bringer shows. That's why they want you on stage. Um, it's a money game. I mean, they want someone who's gonna do. They don't care necessarily how the hell you look.
Right.
They want someone who's gonna show up and
Yeah.
do their job. It doesn't matter if you're cute, if you're
Right.
not cute. I
Right.
mean, obviously, I think it might be a little bit different. If
Right.
you're a girl and you're an attractive girl, then people on stage be like, oh, guys will probably be like, oh, this is interesting.
Right. Right.
So
Right.
girls just like, oh, it's another cute boy, whatever. You know
Right.
what I mean? It's like, but at the same time, you have to bring it.
Yeah, you got to bring it. That's for sure.
You
That's
have to bring it.
yeah, because they
Yeah,
won't come back after that. Yeah.
exactly. And they don't care if you are cute or not cute. They don't really.
Well, I don't think that's true because I've literally heard my guy friends talk, and I know they see some people because they're cute, and they'll keep coming back because
Really,
they're thirsty. Yeah, they thirsty guys.
my
I'm like,
Instagram.
here, take some damn water.
That's what I'm saying. My Instagram is the only Alex Fabian. If you wanna just see, and don't care about the comment, come on by. I'll shoot you a DM.
Yvonne said,
Let's
I'm
work this.
there.
Yeah, let's work this out. Let's do there. Let's do it.
That's hilarious.
It's a lot easier for me. That's good.
Right? It's like whatever. We don't care why. Just come on around.
Come on, guys.
Come on down.
Mhm.
I'll wrap it up. I promise. I know I'm getting there, so I just had a lot of questions for you. Um, what impact do you want to leave on comedy?
Um, the impact that I think that I want to leave,
Mhm.
especially is a perspective of especially just just your ethnicity, being Latino,
Mhm.
uh, being Afro Latino, you having our perspective on life, I
Mhm.
think is super important.
Mhm.
Um, coming from just being able to work hard and actually achieve something,
Mhm.
I think is very, very important. If you look at comics or any comics and you see that they made it, just know that they put in a lot of work to get
Mhm.
there.
Okay.
Um, but I think the most interesting part is you're your own individual person,
Mhm.
and having your perspective on what you think is funny, I think is the most important thing in comedy.
Yes.
So if you see something that you thought was really, really funny, I would love to see. That's why I like seeing even younger comedians, because their perspective on how they see it is so important,
Mhm.
because you can see how they look how they look at it.
Mhm.
In myself, it could be something completely different.
Absolutely.
So, but that's why copying off of someone, another comedian, doesn't really work in comedy, or they shame you for it,
Right.
because it's not your perspective, it's not where you're coming from, it's not
Right.
what you would do if it were you in that same scenario. So
Right. Exactly. Wow.
what I would love to leave with is the vision that I have,
Mhm.
the perspective that I have, and then
Mhm.
hopefully people can relate to it, or they have laughter to it, or it made them feel good,
Good.
within that nature. So
Nice.
there's
So when
that
your
one.
audience, yeah, because that's a big thing. What did your audience get to take? What's the takeaway for the audience?
And it
And what?
would be, yeah,
Mhm.
it would be and never take someone who's a fan
Mhm.
for granted.
Nope.
If they're your fan, that means that they really care about what you say, they care about what your perspective is, and they take
Mhm.
it from that perspective.
Right.
So,
Right.
can't beat that. Can't
Nope.
beat that.
Can't beat it. I love comedy. I don't care what anybody says.
Mhm.
Especially when I know it brings. Maria had said it earlier about that make someone's day or something like that. But that's really what you do it for. And I think Yvonne said it too, for the love or something like that.
Yeah.
That's why you. I know for me, there is nothing, especially during the pandemic when things were really rough, when it was really tight. It made me feel so good to see people literally cracking up for the first time since the pandemic, like literally cracking up. And it
Mhm.
was like I felt like it was the first time on a Zoom. I felt like we were all together. It was weird. Even Debbie Bozic, she can tell you about one of the shows. It was amazing. And I
Yeah.
said, that's what comedy can do. You know,
Powerful.
bring people together. And every color was in there. Every different political belief was in there.
Yeah.
Nobody gave a damn about nobody's political view. We don't care about none of that. We're all here to laugh. That's what it was. And
Exactly.
that to me is a powerful tool. Um, music, comedy, and fashion. If they do it right, that can bring us all together.
Powerful. So
Yeah,
powerful.
yeah,
So
yeah,
powerful.
yeah. And lastly, what advice do you have for a new comic that just started today, is watching right now? Give them a last piece of advice.
Um, Cypher, when I was at Stand Up and Why, Cypher Sounds,
Hmm.
I told him, I asked him, I'm like, can I get some jewels?
Hmm.
And he told me what he said, what Paul Mooney told him.
What's that?
He said, get your ass on stage.
Right. That's it.
And honestly, there is no other way to put it. If you
Mhm.
want to be a comic, if you want to be a comic and you want to be a comedian and you really want to do that,
Right.
get
That's it.
on. It's just get on stage. Like,
Yep.
there's no ifs, ands, or buts. There's no running from it. You can't, you can't run from it.
Nope. And
You're not,
nobody can help you.
exactly. Nobody can help you. You're not gonna. I was watching a comedian who struggled yesterday, and I told him, I was like, yo, when's the last time you got on stage? It was like, oh, 3 weeks ago. I'm like, that you can't cut it that way.
Mm.
If you're getting on stage once a month, you're
Hmm.
not going to be able to cut it that way. I'm gonna be
Right.
very honest with you. There's no. You have to, you have to get on stage.
Right.
You have to. You have to. I don't care if it's once a week, twice a week. I don't
Yeah.
care if it's one open mic, two open mics a week.
Right.
Keep on doing it. Keep on getting on stage. Keep on
Yes.
getting better with writing. Um,
Right.
Writing is important, and the self confidence is important. So keep on doing that. You're golden.
Well, that's awesome. Thank you so much for being our guest. Tell the audience one more time where they can find you at.
You can find me on YouTube. Obviously, Alex Fabian 3. You can find me on IG, the only Alex Fabian.
Yes.
I'm on TikTok, AF Comedy.
Yes.
You can find me on there.
Oh,
Um,
TikTok. Okay.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
AF,
You're everywhere. Alex
yeah,
Fabian. Thank
TikTok,
you so
comedy
much.
everywhere.
Wow.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for being our guest. I appreciate you. I just want to say hi, a quick hi to everybody out there. Jennifer, who did I see? Tony. Some of you guys I can't see. If you're on YouTube, I'm sorry, I can't see you. Gina, hey Gina, what's up? Yvonne, welcome back. Welcome back, darling. Gina, let's see. I got Joe. Hi, how are you? Yes, thank you.
yeah.
Joe, hey, my cousin Prince, what's up? What's up?
Hey,
You're doing big things out there in Queens. You need your car wash. Go help those young people. They are out there hustling, making it,
yeah,
teaching, learning how to make a living for themselves, an honest living for themselves.
yeah.
Prince Mapp is out there doing it. And check out his book, Silk Tears, by the way. It's
Nice,
a fabulous book.
very nice.
So yeah, who else is out here? Tony Robinson. Thank you, Maria.
Yes, yeah.
I see you, girlfriend. Yes, thank you. Y'all showing up. Okay. Thank you guys for being back. I know
Yeah,
it's been a while and this 5 hour difference is crazy.
yeah.
But I appreciate you guys, all of you, for coming through. I appreciate you, and Alex appreciates you. Yvonne has me
Yes.
dying up here. She's like, "I'm there, I'm there."
Let's go. Let's go, Iman. Let's go. Don't threaten me with a good time. Let's go.
You heard that, Yvonne? Don't threaten me now.
Don't threaten me with a good time. Let's
Yeah,
go.
no, thank you, Grandma Norma. Thank you for showing up. I appreciate you guys all. Do me a favor, go to the channel, like and subscribe to the channel. Check out Alex's page. Go subscribe. He's a funny dude. He really is a funny dude. And everybody, like Maria said, everybody needs a laugh, man. That's the bottom line. I think the world would be a kinder place if everybody learned to laugh. That's it.
Yeah, hands
So,
down. And shout out to you. You know what I mean? You've been grinding, ever since Lucy's,
oh right, we go
yeah,
way back.
yeah, you've been grinding. That was years and years ago. So you've been doing your thing, being consistent on there. So shout out to
Trying.
you. Yeah, of course.
I'm trying to get a room over here. I'm
Yeah.
trying. I'm like, I need a room because just to, you need to work out often. So just someplace I can just shoot the breeze with an open mic. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And not have to be relying on other places because it's hard. It's really, it's not hard. Excuse me. It's a challenge,
Mhm.
right? If you live far away from the city or far away from mics, it's a
Yep.
challenge. So I suggest go to your local restaurant or bar, find their least busiest night, and ask the owners. You listen. If I bring people here to eat or buy soda, pop, or drink, whatever it is, can you give me one night for an hour, 90 minutes, or something like that?
Yep.
That's my suggestion, and that's what I'm trying to do. So, because the best, like you said, you got to be on stage. Is that Emma? Hey, Emma, what's up, girl? There you are. She came in like the
Oh,
long range.
finally,
Emma,
finally came in.
yes, and
What's
Yvonne. I got
up?
two of y'all tonight. Yes. So God is good. Praise God. I'm so happy to see them too. You have no idea.
Mhm.
So yeah, and Maria, yep. But yeah, so I say if you new, never did this before, get to a mic, an open mic, go to badslava.com. They tell you about every mic in the world, literally, from Japan to New York.
Everything.
Yeah, for free. So
Mhm.
that's what I would do. But thank you, Alex Fabian. You are the best. I appreciate you so
Thank
much
you.
for being a
Appreciate
man of your word.
that.
I appreciate you, and you're welcome to coming back anytime. Any new shows coming up that you want to tell anybody about?
Yeah, I just got selected, which is a
Mm.
dope thing, for the Laughing Buddha Comedy Festival. They
Oh,
selected, 50 comics. Yeah, selected only 50 comics in the city, so I was selected for one of them.
when is that?
The Laughing, when is it?
When is it about?
I go on Tuesday the 25th, I believe it is, 9 p.m. I'll be in Brooklyn, Eastville Comedy Club. Um,
I'm writing it down as we speak. Brooklyn.
yeah,
New
Eastville,
York.
yeah,
East.
Eastville Comedy Club in Brooklyn. I'll be there on the 25th. I also have some local shows. I have North Shell. They do a comedy show in North Shell on
Oh,
the
really?
yeah, on the 21st, which is this Friday. It's called it's at the hotel. The what's that
Oh,
hotel?
yeah, the Marriott?
No,
No,
it's
the
not the Marriott. The Shelton, the Sheraton,
the Sheraton. That's it.
Sheraton. Yes, they do a comedy show there. So I'll be there on Friday. There's also a couple shows happening in Yonkers, but I'll be in the city as well. So we got some
What
things.
time Friday? What time Friday?
Friday, I believe, is at 8 p.m.
Like
on
that, right?
Friday. Yeah, it's at
That's
8 p.m. in New Rochelle. So that's a good show.
okay.
Um, I'll be at it's called Salsa Bebe in Yonkers on McLean Avenue. Uh,
Salsa baby.
yeah, BEBE. Yeah, uh,
B E
BE.
E.
Yeah,
Where at Yonkers?
that's in Yonkers. Yeah, it's on McLean Avenue in Yonkers. I usually post everything on my Instagram. If people ever wanted to see it, uh, so I usually post everything there. So I always keep people updated when it comes down to that, and I'll be in the city. So looking forward to that, and what I mean, if all good things happen.
That's right. Well, thank you so much, Alex Fabian, for being our guest. You
Appreciate
are special. You're wonderful, and I know you can do great things in comedy.
appreciate.
Um, we'll appreciate you. We'll look for you in the movies as well, and
There we go.
commercials, whatever, huggies, whatever you got, whatever you got going. We're
That's how
gonna
you
look.
do it.
You got to get that one line. Come on,
That's
agent, give
it.
them that one.
That one. That's it.
Yes.
Forget about it. Yep.
What'd you say? What'd you say, Joe? That's why you did not see the comments. Oh, okay. You didn't see before. Okay. But yeah, but thank you so much for taking the
Of course.
time.
Of
And
course.
hang out with me for a minute while I say goodbye to everybody. Everybody, thank you so much for watching. Please like, go, share, and subscribe. And share, and share again. Not because of me, but because of what? Because somebody, ouch. I just my funny bone is not funny. Because somebody out there needs to know about Alex or needs to learn something new about comedy. All right. So thank
Yeah.
you. All right. Hang out, Alex.